Yeah. Ready?
Yep, Coach Courtney. So, talking about think box, play box, how she's gonna go for. I'm just doing an intro so they know it's my station, right? How you're gonna walk in and hit the shots. Talk about your heel taps.
Okay.
What leads you into your takeaway thoughts, post-impact thoughts on what you felt.
Okay.
How we take it from just the little drills, even there, to a full swing. Okay.
All right.
Floor
Cool.
is yours.
Cool. So, you know, when we go out and play, we want you to be kind of in a process. So it's easier to take what we learn here onto the course if we're actually practicing what we're doing out here, right? So, you know, most players, like Martin said, we have a lot of pros that practice at the Raven, you know, and you can always tell the good ones or the best ones that are going to make it, right? They're always going through a routine and a process. So, you know, when I played on tour, this is the same thing that I would do. So here's what we call the think box. That's going to be behind the line. That's where you make all your decisions. So you're going to get your yardage, you're going to look at the wind, you're going to look at your lie, you know, anything that you have to figure out before you get up there. Because the last thing that we need to do is when we get over the ball, for us to be trying to, oh, this doesn't really feel like the right club, or should I hit 8 or 9 or whatever. Everything needs to happen back here. So, you know, once I figure that out, I'm going to I like to make my practice swings towards where I'm hitting. Okay, because I'm trying to mimic what I'm about to do. Okay, and the more I can do that, the easier it is when I get up there. Now, the swing's not going to be necessarily the exact same, right? So when I get, you know, in line with the ball, I'm going to warm up and take a couple practice swings here and really kind of feel what the shot feels like. And that kind of amps me up. You know, if I feel like I took a really good practice swing, it's like, all right, I'm ready to go. So from there, you know, I'm going to stand behind the ball, and this thing's aiming kind of just left of that yellow flag down there, kind of at those bunkers. So I'm going to, you know, sometimes I Zorro, sometimes I just eye it from my target back to the ball.
Explain Zorro, Coach.
Okay, so Zorro is when I hold the club up, I'm putting where I want the ball to end up, or where I want the ball to start necessarily, at this top part of the shaft. And then on the bottom part, it's covering up the ball. And the point of that is so I can pick a spot out here that's in the right line, right? Okay, because a lot of people come up and they set up to it, and they're looking out, you can see it, they're looking at the target trying to line themselves. You know, I'm not very good at that, and I don't know very many pros that are either, because you can't visually see.
Right, and as an example,
see what I mean?
With Jeff, you know, so Jeff would take his practice swings at the ball.
Where is he?
And then by the time you're going to hit it, you know, you're way out, you know, so that's why no practice swings at the ball, my friend. Right? Get your lines, walk in, and process the target and hit it.
Right.
By the time you take a couple wipes right here, now you're aiming way over to the right, and good luck to you.
Right. So anyways, you know, you can Zorro it, or you can, you know, draw a line in your head, or whatever works best for you, but, you know, we definitely want to do that. So if I'm going to set up just left of that yellow flag, I'm going to aim somewhere in this area. Okay, so my first job after I go through my think box, and now I'm going up to set up to it, I'm going to put my hands on the club, because now I don't have to necessarily worry about that. Okay, so when I go in, you know, Martin talked about we set our right foot. My feet are the last thing that I set. So even when I was working with you just a second ago, we got your right foot on the line, but then the first thing you did was set your feet, right? Because now if I'm too close to it, which most people are, now I'm kind of trying to figure this out. Okay, so I prefer to be further away from the ball and kind of lean in, because then that gets my feet, or my weight forward in the front of my feet, so I can heel tap. Okay, if I walk in too close, now all my weight has to be on my heels. Okay, so I'm pretty picky about this setup thing. So I'm going to set the club first, feet are staggered, weight's going to be kind of forward, so I'm kind of tipping myself over, which in this group, a lot of people need to stick their butt out and get the chest down more. Okay, so that my first step, I'm just going to put this more in line with that. There we go. My first step is to get that club matched up exactly to where my little spot. My spot's typically within the first 2 feet of the ball. Okay, so that's my first step. As I'm doing that, I already have my weight in the right part of my foot. I have it forward so I can easily heel tap. And then my chest and my shoulders are getting in alignment with the target. So I'll probably look out to the target just to make sure that I'm lined up the right way. And then from there, I'm going to step my feet below my shoulders. And that takes practice. When you're on the golf course and you're trying to step your feet below your shoulders, sometimes that part is still just kind of in your natural tendency to where you're comfortable. Okay, so that's why when we practice, we always want you to use a T-square, because clearly my feet aren't lined up right now. Okay, so if I go through my routine and now I'm setting my feet below my shoulders, what does that feel like? And then I can kind of match it up to this T-square here.
You're training your optics.
Yeah, and I'm training my eyes, so I'm always, you know, a lot of times when people hit balls, they don't even look at the target. Or most of the time, actually, they don't even have a target, right? They're just hitting straight ahead because these tees are all mostly rectangular, right? So pick a target and pick different ones. You know, hit to the left and hit to the right, and pick different clubs. Okay, but yeah, you're also training your eyes to see what your body looks like when you're lined up properly to the target.
So give us a cornerstone drill, Court, from think box to play box, and give props to P and Lynn for their naming it that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, the whole think box play box came from Pia and Lynn, who were Annika's mental coaches, and that's really kind of taken off. It's Vision 54 is their system, and they have a bunch of books out, so I definitely check into that. But here, what we did with you guys yesterday was just a cornerstone drill. So a drill that goes, you know, waist high to waist high. And it may look like you're all working on the same thing, but everyone's working on something different. You know, whether it's how the arms work on the way through, or your weight, or just changing your grip, or different setups, right? So for us to, you know, kind of transfer that half swing cornerstone drill into a full swing, you know, these are just kind of the feels that we want you to incorporate. We want you to get this part of the swing down first. So if I did just a little half shot here, I'm going to go through the same routine, kind of visualize my shot, see the target, pick a spot in front of me, go through my routine.
Right foot on the ball line.
Right foot, yep, right foot on the ball line. Club face set up to my spot. Okay, so now I can go through some heel taps, and my feet kind of dance anyway, so a little bit of a ladybug, so I'm not necessarily grounding my club. I'm not going to kill the ladybug. And then when I'm ready, you know, if I was working on heel taps, I'd kind of get the momentum and kind of get this part down to where when the last heel tap is my right foot, and that's when the club's going to go back.
In this situation here, Court's held her forward flex, right? She's got her arm structure in check. As a coach, I could come over here and I could push, and she's going to be able to sustain that. Mm-hmm. Her rear is past the ball line, right? She's in a great forward extension. Like that's the cornerstone of a great strike right there. You're going to build your speed from that. If she built her speed, club is going to overwhelm her wrist joints. Then it's second going to overwhelm her elbows. And then she's going to finish in style, right? Because that's all slowing down with style is. So give us a full swing, Coach.
Cool. All right, so then if I'm going to transfer that to a full swing, again, I'm going to do everything back here. So, you know, feel my practice swings. I've already got my target. Work hard on my routine when I get there. You know, for me and for a lot of people that I kind of already have my routine, so I don't necessarily think about it. But again, I'm further away so I can get this bent over and my weight forward, setting my club face first, and then I'm going to drop my feet underneath. And then from there, you know, I still have my heels going.
Learn something, right? So she can relax her arms down, But in that moment right there, she can say, okay, where was my balance? How did I feel? You know, all those things, right?
Right.
And this is where my mentor always made us hold this for 3 seconds, not hold our arms up uncomfortable, let our arms relax down. After a full swing that has to fold up to slow down in style, once the arms relax down, now you can go, okay, well, what do I feel like? Where was my balance? How'd I do? Now, if you miss the shot, a lot of people just take their hands off the club in an aggravation and go, rake up another ball and hit it, right? You've lost an opportunity there.
Right.
Hit the shot, seek out where the balance flaw may have been, where something, you know, might have got lost in how your arms felt, where you felt some tightness. Let your brain go to that and address those spots. That's high-level practice.
Right.
Okay? So now when you kind of go through your warm-up and you're hitting your little cornerstone shots, let's use that. Sound good? Okay? Any questions?
Why do you use the right foot and not the left foot?
Why do you use the right foot?
To set your
The ball line?
ball line.
Good question. Why do you use the right foot, not the left foot? Because, in my opinion, I'm looking at the target. You know, so when I set my feet down, just stay close to me, Coach, so they can hear me. You know, when I'm setting in here, I've got an opportunity now. Right foot on the ball line, setting the club face where I want the ball to start. Then my eyes can go out to the target. Then now I can set my left foot for ball location. An iron ball location would be away from the stick, and then my right foot would flare back a little bit. A driver ball location naturally would be a little farther away, and then my left foot would step right very close to my right foot, and then I drop my right foot back. Did that answer your question?
Why don't you just start with the left?
Because you don't know where to put it. You don't know where to put it relative to ball location.
You're gonna change your
I got you. It's an extra step for me to do that. I'm used to doing it with the left, but
Okay, fair enough. Other questions, guys? Before we get started, yes.
So if you don't have the tee and you're playing,
Yeah.
how do you know you're perpendicular to the ball?
That's
I mean,
yeah.
Face it, but
Sure.
it'll still be a little bit like
So,
this or this.
good question. How do you know you're perpendicular to the ball? Well, when you do enough reps, starting from back there, walking into the T-square, and setting up, your body's going to be trained for this particular feeling of where your toes are, how your shoulders are open or closed relative to the golf ball. That's why we're using this, so that it builds in familiarity, proprioception familiarity to the setup. Through reps, that's how you'll get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Using the tee, then you're
Yeah, just by getting a ton of reps in this situation. And then when it's not there, you'll feel like you have it there.
right.
Questions?
So is your the face angle it's set up, is that off? Is it at 90 or is it off like a few degrees in the direction
So
that
I
you're
always
starting the ball on?
I want the ball, when I set a club down there, okay, my right foot comes in on the ball line. I'm walking in, right foot. I aim the face kind of at my spot, and my spot is anywhere from a foot to maybe a yard ahead of my ball. Just some point of interest that I'm not going to lose a visual reference to when I walk in, okay? So I aim my face at the part I want my ball to start. So if I'm hitting a little draw, I'm going to start it a little to the right of wherever my target is, because I want the ball to kind of go out to the right and curve back to the left. So I'm always worried about where I'm going to start the ball. I'm not necessarily going to return it there. I wish I could return the face perfectly every time. But I always aim the face where I want my ball to start, and then I build my feet based on that. And it doesn't, you don't have to have everything. It doesn't have to be perfect, fellas. It just has to be sort of good, because the back of the house, the back of the brain will kind of work it out for you a little bit. We have to have within reasonable tolerances. Okay? Good? Get started?